Hey guys, my name is Marlon, and in this video I want to show you how to replace a charging port on an iPhone 8 Plus. This iPhone 8 Plus has problems charging, both sides don't work. So we're just going to go ahead and replace it with a brand new charging port. That's also going to replace microphones. And then also it's going to give it a better connection. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and jump into the repair. Let's place our part aside. And if you're able to turn off the phone, go ahead and do so. In this case we're not, so we're going to start removing the two pentalobe screws. Next we're going to replace the LCD from the housing. You want to go ahead and use a blade, spudger, whatever tool you like. I prefer a blade. In this case, you're going to go ahead and insert it in between the LCD and the housing. You don't want to go too deep. You want to go ahead and lift and insert your spudger and start bringing it down like this. Alright, so we have it separated like that. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. And then remember, these open up like a book. What you want to do is you want to bring it down, try to separate the adhesive, because you're going to have adhesive in there. You can either use some heat, or you can just go ahead and just tilt the screen a little bit to the side, not too much. And then you're going to see the adhesive separate here. So you can go ahead and clean it off with your spudger. And remember, start lifting. There we go. Next, we're going to unplug the LCD and front camera. You're going to need your Phillips screwdriver to remove these 4 screws. Then you want to go ahead and unplug your battery, screen, and front camera. Now we can remove it and set aside. Now that the screen is out of the way, we're going to need to remove the loudspeaker and Taptic Engine in order to reach the charging port. We'll also need to loosen a couple screws on the motherboard in order to lift up and slide the charging port. For repairs like this, guys, I like to use a small magnetic mat like this. That way, whenever you're removing the screws, you can keep them organized. So we're going to begin removing these 2 screws. Then remove these other ones in the bottom that are holding down the loudspeaker. Remember guys, for repairs like this, organization is key. So make sure you put back the screws where you found them. Sometimes I like to just remove all the screws first before beginning to separate them from the housing. Alright, we got all the screws from the loudspeaker. Now that we have all the screws out of the way, we can begin removing the loudspeaker. Set it aside. Now we have the Taptic Engine we need to remove. Taptic Engine has a flex connector here. You can just slide your spudger underneath and turn. Next, you want to remove the 2 screws all the way on the bottom of the housing. We got 2 more screws on the side that are holding down the charging port. Okay, now that we have the loudspeaker and vibrator out of the way, we can begin loosening the screws that are holding down the motherboard. That way we can slide our new charger port and get it plugged in right there. We begin by removing the SIM tray, unplugging the charging port and wireless charger. Now we have 1 screw Phillips screw here to remove. Then we have another large screw here to remove. I would loosen this one as well, guys. That way you can start lifting this freely. You see? Now we can begin removing the old charging port from the housing. Everything is just really taped down with adhesive. You can just begin bringing it down. Now we can start prepping the new charging port by removing all the stickers. Bend your mics. And also bend this part that connects. You see how the original loops? You have to do the same thing on the newer charging port. So loop it before you install it. Now you have a perfect loop. Now that we have everything out of the way, we can begin installing our new charging port. You want to slightly lift up on your motherboard and slide in your charging port. You can begin plugging it, as well as your wireless charger. Battery, you don't want to go ahead and plug it yet, just leave it alone. Now you want to go ahead and place both of your microphones and charging port hole in the correct position. Straight to the middle for the charging port. And microphones on the side. Now that we have our new charging port in place, we can begin placing everything back. First thing will be the Taptic Engine. Let's plug it. Then your loudspeaker. Don't forget to plug in this right in here, guys. So do that first before you screw anything. Now we can begin placing the screws back. We're going to start with the Taptic Engine. Now that we have all the screws in place, we can begin securing our motherboard by placing back the screws. Also, your SIM tray. We're just about done. What we need to do is place LCD back. As well as our front camera. Now we can plug in the battery and place the protective plate back. Now we can begin closing it. The way you want to close it is you want to slide in the top first, push. Make sure there's nothing being squeezed, no connectors are being squeezed, and begin pushing down. All right, we're gonna go ahead and test it. Before, it wasn't receiving any charge whatsoever. Now we can see here that it's starting to charge. So yeah, it came back on. So we're gonna test both sides. Yeah. Both of them are working perfectly. Lastly, we're gonna go ahead and place our pentalobe screws. Alright guys, these are the tools we used for this repair. It took us about 30 minutes to do a full repair. And if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe guys. And we'll see you in the next video.